Welcome back everyone. I know it's been a long time since the last video, but I'm back. So I'm going to talk to you today about the changes that I've made in my edit, in particular about Dooku. Now, I love the character of Dooku, and I really love what Christopher Lee has done with the character. Christopher Lee is personally one of my favourite actors. I looked up to him a lot in the past, and I'm not going to be trying to change too much of what he personally has done with the character, but more about the world building that surrounds him. Now, as you're probably maybe aware of by now, I am separating Dooku from Palpatine. Personally, I don't think Palpatine needs to be this grand overlord from both sides. I think the story works just as well from him being on the side of the clones and the separatists being, well, separate. I don't think it's needed that he's controlling both sides. Now, I do understand why George decided to do this, because Palpatine does have two particular things that he wants to do. One, which is the one that gets the most focus, which is turning the Republic into the Empire. Now, he created this war so that he can lead the Republic into becoming a more war-focused state and eventually giving himself more authoritarian power, which would lead into the creation of the Empire. But with that, he could just create the separatists, destroy them in, I don't know, a year, 6 months, anyway, reasonably quickly, and then declare himself ruler. But that leaves something really important unspoken about, which is the second reason why he's doing all of this, which is to turn Anakin to the dark side and creating Darth Vader. That's probably why he lets the war go on as long as it does, so that Anakin can take this time to find his inner turmoil and become part of the dark side. But rather than having Sidious as being this mastermind who controls everything from the very start, I thought it would be interesting to put that to the side for a second and focus on him being an opportunist who takes advantage of the war rather than planning every single detail on both sides. Now, I don't think this will make it better, but I do think it will make it different. But the thing that I do think will make better is by having Dooku completely separate from Palpatine, so that we can actually look at him as a more multifaceted villain, rather than being 100% on the side of evil, and that good-bad dynamic is something that George Lucas often goes for, with having the Jedi and the Sith represent good and bad respectively. But in the prequels, George himself deconstructs the Jedi. This is often a speaking point when deconstructing the prequels. It shows the Jedi Order isn't perfect. Now, if we're showing the Jedi Order, which has previously been presented as being 100% good, then I think the villains can also not be 100% bad. We can allow the audience to explore the grayer parts of this universe. What I'm planning on doing is taking Dooku away from being a Sith and planting him as a Jedi. Not a grey Jedi or anything like that, 100% a Jedi who has removed himself from the Jedi Order, which is exactly what he's done in canon. But in canon, the reason he did that is because he wanted power. But we're told that the reason he did that was because he didn't agree with the Jedi Order.
I never understood why he quit.
Well, one might say he was always a bit out of step with the decisions of the Council. In the end, I think he left because he lost faith in the Republic. He disappeared for 9 of 10 years and turned up recently as head of the separatist movement.
Now, I think this is quite a missed opportunity, and I want to explore the idea that Dooku wants to change things for the better, and that's why he's in control of the Separatists, because he generally believes that the Republic is not a good thing. He believes that the Republic is actually harming people, and that's why he wants to start over, not because of a power grab. So instead of a Sith Lord hungry for battle and for power, we have this reluctant villain who believes that the means justify the end. Now, in my version, we have him planning the creation of the Death Star because he believes that destroying Coruscant with the Sith with it is worth all of the innocent lives that will go down with the Sith. You can easily argue that he is still a villain simply because of the numbers, but you could also argue that he's ridding the universe of a Sith who wants to create a fascist universe. And how much Dooku knows is going to be left vague because I can't implement all the changes that I want, because that goes into rewriting, and I'm not rewriting the film, I'm re-editing it, so there's limits to what I can do. But I'll definitely make sure that it is clear, it just won't be a huge exposition dump. One of the things that I'll have to do now that Dooku isn't a Sith, go through frame by frame, changing whenever he has his lightsaber on and changing the lightsaber color from red to blue. And if you've seen my Dooku trailer, which I'll link down below, you see I've already started that. Since then, I've made the blue a much more kind of brighter traditional blue rather than a bluey purple. And that's why these videos have been late, because I've been working so much changing that lightsaber from red to black and white to blue, and it's just taking forever. But I really want this released this month, so I'm putting a lot of effort into this. So with that out of the way, let's look at the first scene that Dooku is in, and then look at the changes that I've made.
We must persuade the Commerce Guild and the Corporate Alliance to sign the treaty.
What about the senator from Naboo? Is she dead yet? I am not signing your treaty until I have her head on my desk.
I am a man of my word, Viceroy.
Even though that sounds really evil, I'm leaving that in because, again, the ends justify the means. So if Dooku has to destroy Padme and literally put her head on a desk, which I doubt that's literal, but it might be, that's okay, because that means that he will have more army, and the more army that he has will mean he's more likely to succeed in destroying the Sith. Sith are bad. That means it's okay to kill Padme in his mind.
With these new battle droids we built for you, you'll have the finest army in the galaxy.
As I explained to you earlier, I am quite convinced that 10,000 more systems will rally to our cause with your support, gentlemen.
The Techno-Union Army is...
Okay, let me just talk about that for a second. So, he fiddles with his knobs on his chest, and then the distortion happens, as if he caused it by fiddling with it, and then he fiddles with it again to fix it. Now, why would he fiddle with it if it was just gonna distort what he says? And it's not like a secret message, because he picks up exactly where he left off. So it's not him telling something in secret and that's a different language that he's adjusting to. Why did he cause it in the first place? It doesn't make any sense.
The Techno-Union Army is at your disposal, Count.
The banking clan will sign your treaty.
Good, very good. Our friends from the Trade Federation have pledged their support.
I'd also like to point out that Dooku doesn't respond to the fact that someone said he might be committing treason. This is really important because I think that if someone accused him of treason at this meeting, at the very least he should address it, but he doesn't. And if I was there at the time, I would have said, "Hey George, don't you think he should address this?" And he would probably go on, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's have Christopher Lee say this line," which makes him sound really menacing and cool, but I can't do that. So what I've done is I've changed the subtitles for something that sounds more passive and in agreement of what Dooku is saying.
And when their battle droids are combined with yours, we shall have an army greater than any in the galaxy. The Jedi will be overwhelmed. The Republic will agree to any demands we make.
So as I've said, I've changed the subtitles and I've done something to make the Techno-Union guy just be a little less weird in terms of touching himself and then not being able to talk for a few seconds.
We must persuade the Commerce Guild and the Corporate Alliance to sign the treaty.
What about the senator from Naboo? Is she dead yet? I am not signing your treaty until I have her head on my desk.
I am a man of my word, Viceroy.
With these new battle droids we built for you, you'll have the finest army in the galaxy.
As I explained to you earlier, I am quite convinced that 10,000 more systems will rally to our cause with your support, gentlemen.
The Techno-Union Army is at your disposal, Count.
The banking clan will sign your treaty.
Good, very good. Our friends from the Trade Federation have pledged their support. And when their battle droids are combined with yours, we shall have an army greater than any in the galaxy. The Jedi will be overwhelmed. The Republic will agree to any demands we make.
I hope you liked this video. I've already done part 2, so hopefully that should be a bit sooner. And then hopefully, very hopefully, if the Force is with me, this film shall be released between Christmas and the New Year. So look forward to that. Hello everyone. If you like my content, please subscribe. The Jedi's Apprentice editing videos will continue until late December, and then after that I'm going to start re-editing other films popular in nerd culture.